One of the things that really concerns me a little bit about tarot is how many people just write it off as pure fortune telling and don't really embody and embrace how tarot can help shape your life rather than just predict the life that you are already creating. I'm always grateful when people come to me because they've either read my book or found me on YouTube, or they have been recommended to me by somebody who already works with me. Because sometimes new clients just think that I'm going to predict the future. And it takes a while to kind of re-educate them. Why would you just predict the future when you can pause and create a better one? And so one of the things I love doing is creating new spreads. It's something that I have to do constantly in every reading to listen to what the client needs to understand and adjust my spreads to meet their needs very quickly. So I love mind mapping what's going on in my life and playfully creating new spreads. And I wanted to share with you a spread I've used recently to help me to manage my emotions better, to help me to pause when life gets difficult, and to consciously act when life gets difficult rather than automatically react. Now, I'm not going to demonstrate this with a live spread, though I have another short spread that I will demonstrate afterwards. But this is a variation on my normal 9-card spread. But if you are, let's say you're in a situation, let's make a situation up. Let's say that you've had an argument with your boss, you've come home, and you really want to send an email complaining, saying how it is. You want to make an emotional, immediate reaction. Well, my advice is get your tarot deck out, get your notebook or your journal out, and do a spread. So shuffle the cards, and the first 3 cards are to understand your reaction to the situation. Now, this might be, could be any form of argument. I tried this spread out recently because I was gifted a very generous opportunity or experience by somebody. And my initial reaction was to say no thank you. And I really sat with it and I thought, why was that my initial reaction? And is that the right is that the right action to take? So I did this spread. And the first 3 cards, when I looked at why am I reacting this way, reminded me, because I've got very used to doing things on my own. And a beautiful gift is destabilizing. And I really sat with that and I journaled it. It's very easy when something happens to immediately look outside of ourselves. So the first 3 cards, what do I need to understand about my reaction? I would take your time with this. And honestly, at this point, when you've read these 3 cards, I would reshuffle the deck. And then when you're ready, the next 3 cards are to understand the actual situation. Now, the spread that I started with was personal about someone else, which is why I'm not prepared to share it here. But the card that was really interesting in this line was the Knight of Pentacles. The person involved was genuinely trying to be a nice guy, is genuinely a nice guy. And it came from a place, it was the Knight of Pentacles, it came from a place of, I always think of that as Samwise Gamgee in The Lord of the Rings, somebody that is trying to be loyal and of service. And I really sat with that. These cards, if your situation involves another person, will probably reflect them. But if you're let's say that you're thinking about buying a holiday. You know that you're burnt out, you know that you're exhausted, and your initial reaction is, I can't afford it, even though you know you probably could wangle the money somehow. Then understanding the situation, this might suggest, well, maybe the Six of Swords, you find an easier way to book a holiday. Maybe the Five of Pentacles, you acknowledge you don't have enough money to do the holiday you really want to do, but you still find a different way to do the holiday. So these cards are going to really help you to understand the actual situation. And then the last three cards will show you what action should I take. And when I did this spread for myself, I got the Page of Wands, which was to enjoy the offer that had been made, which I did. So these will be very practical cards. They will tell you the action that it's appropriate to take. Because what I've noticed using tarot in my life, and I do use tarot in my life a lot, is that when I feel pulled to react to something, it's rarely the right choice. There was a situation, it was a while ago now, where somebody had commented in a particular social media group that I'm on, and I'd read his comment and I'd taken it as a very negative thing. And instead of reacting, which I wanted to do, I did a very similar spread to this. And the action to take was the Two of Cups. And I read that as reach out and ask somebody for advice, connect with a friend. And I did. And the friend read the comment and went, you've misinterpreted that. I don't think that's how he meant it. So using this alongside journaling, that's why there's always probably about 12 unlidded pens on my desk somewhere, because when I'm reading for myself, I do journal. 3 cards, I need to understand myself in this situation. 3 cards, I need to understand the situation. And 3 cards, what action should I take? And remember that cards like the Six of Swords might be to compromise. Cards like the Two of Pentacles might be to, or Temperance might be to mix it up and compromise. Cards like the Hanged Man and the Two of Swords might say, don't do anything. And numerous times when I've read for myself like this, I get the Two of Swords, which I take as don't do anything at this point. And something I'm really trying to work with at the moment, let's be honest, the world is not in a good state right now. From whatever side of the fence you're sitting at, it just doesn't feel like a good place right now. And that can be overwhelming to all of us. And so I'm playing around with another spread to help my mental health on that one. And that is 3 cards. What do I need to understand about what is within my control? So the Ace of Swords, that's a really interesting one for me. Often the Ace of Swords is about having a clear, streamlined goal. It's a single ace. It's often about journaling, and I do journal most days. And it is about writing things down, having a plan, having a list. And I have really updated my journaling and planning system, and it is definitely helping. The Three of Pentacles, to continue to build the areas of my life that give me genuine meaning. I love the fact that there are 3 people in this card. It reminds us that when we do things that suit our skill sets, that bring us either spiritual or internal joy, but are also recognized either financially or by the community or by your family, it really does build a solid and practical life. Interesting, I've got 2 aces. Always like to see aces, new beginnings. To trust my intuition more. And perhaps also to be more spontaneous. I am starting to be more spontaneous. When COVID hit and life got hard, I became very practical. I became very conservative in what I would allow myself to do. I am letting go of that and becoming more spontaneous. I do like if there is a jump in a question within a single spread, or if I've got to a point of reading a spread and I feel that my understanding has changed a lot, I will leave the spread out and reshuffle what's left. Because remember, sometimes when we read cards, we are literally changing the future in that moment. And now 3 cards. What is out of my control? What should I just let go of? Now remember, if you read for yourself regularly, certain cards may have very personal meanings. So what should I let go of? And that is true for me. So there may be certain times when I'm reading for myself that I give perhaps a more nuanced meaning to a card. Well, that's my old friend, the Queen of Cups. I should let go of being everybody's agony aunt. This is something I'm doing. I'm really working on making sure that when I am with my family or friends, I am not taking on the counsellor or the therapist role. That is something I do in my day job. And also letting go of over ruminating about the past. I am really, in a good way, doing that right now. 8 of Wands is an interesting one. It would suggest, for me, my initial thought was travel, which actually disappointed me because I've got a few travel plans coming up. But then when I really looked at it, micromanaging everything. Because the best way to get the detail in the cards is to cross-reference the cards you've already had. Now, I've already had the Ace of Wands, which I read, and I believe this to be true for me in this reading, spontaneity. I will never forget showing, it was quite some years ago now, I have an A4 Filofax, which is the master plan to my life. And at the time, I used different coloured highlighter pens, and I micromanaged every hour. This hour is for writing, this hour is for family, this hour is for work, this hour is for content creation. Oh, this hour I'm doing a shop. And the whole week would be micromanaged. And I remember my friend looking at it and going, oh my God, that's crazy. I've really let go of that, and I'm letting go of it more. If I don't have clients booked in, I'm giving myself permission, if it's really hot, to read a book rather than do content creation. So I am letting go of micromanaging. That's very interesting. I initially thought this could be travel. And I think the micromanaging is the right read for this. But the 8 of Cups can be travel. And I've been thinking about this a lot. I am, for various reasons, travelling a lot this year. I'm lucky enough to be travelling for 3 hand fastings that I am the celebrant for, which is great because I get a free holiday, one of them abroad, for the role of celebrant, because these are people that I know, so I'm not charging, but they are supporting my travel and accommodating me. I've done some camping, I've had some holidays with kids, and it's making me realise I am travelling to escape my life. And that's not right. So I have decided to really stop micromanaging my life so that when I'm at home, I enjoy it more. And I've been really thinking about when I travel, what is it that I love about the travel that I could bring back into my life? And actually, often with a tarot reading, it can highlight what you already know or what you're already doing. And if it does, it's cheerleading you and saying you're doing it right. So when I was thinking about this, I thought I love the fact that when I'm on holiday, I will just amble around a pretty town and buy a light lunch for no reason at all. And I never do that at home. Now I live near Lewes, and Lewes in East Sussex, it is beautiful. So on Friday, I went into Lewes. I had an amble. I didn't really buy anything. I just ambled around the shops, bought myself a light lunch and read a book and came home. And it made me realize in my micromanaged life, I never had the time to do that. So this is a spread I've been playing with quite recently. 3 things within my control. What can I do to improve my life? And 3 things that are outside of my control or that I'm trying to control and it's not helpful. What can I let go of? And definitely I would advise, if you're doing it for yourself, do journal, because it really takes a simple tarot reading into a powerful mindset exercise.